Hello and welcome to Little Learners. In today's video I'm going to be talking to you about sharing and how you can teach your child or your class or encourage your child and your class to share. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so that you can join the Little Learners family and you can see future videos just like this. Now I think when we talk about sharing, it's very important to first establish what that means. Now, to an adult, the word sharing is very easy to understand. We know that it means that you don't keep things just for yourself and that it's fair and it's nice to share with other people. And to be honest, even some adults don't like to share, but that is a whole other video in itself. However, for children who are first learning the concept of sharing, the definition can be very different. And I think it's important to remember that for many children, sharing means losing out, giving something away. Because when you ask a child to share, for example, let's think of a little scenario. So we have two children who are playing together or next to each other, and there is one toy dragon. Child A is currently playing with the toy dragon, and child B would like to play with the toy dragon. So when you tell a child to share, what do you even mean by that? Because to tell a child just to simply share doesn't really give them the information that they need, and actually for them that just means that they have to give up this toy to somebody else. That doesn't seem fair, and it's no wonder that this can often end up in an argument and children really arguing or even kind of fighting, tussling over the same toy. So it's very important that we explain to children that the act of sharing is actually the act of taking turns. And I think it's important to use the two phrases interchangeably for a while so that children understand the concept of sharing as taking turns. This allows the child to understand that if they give up this toy to someone else for a while, they will get it back, and then they can give it up again, and then they can get it back again. That they are still involved in the sharing process, not just that they have to give something away. To help a child really understand this concept, you can use things like timers, sound timers, stopwatches to give children each the amount of time equally. So for example, if child A is playing with a dragon toy, you can say, okay, you have 5 more minutes to play with that dragon toy, then child B gets to play with that dragon toy for 5 minutes, and then you will get to play for 5 minutes, or however long you want to give them to play. Now this can be a little bit of a tricky concept at first, of course, because they're children and this is a brand new interaction for them to be learning about. However, I think it's really important that we teach children the kind of basis behind words. So not just you have to share, but I'm going to teach you how to share and what that actually means, what it looks like, and that it's actually okay. So if you set a stopwatch, for example, for 5 minutes, that child knows that when it gets to the end of the 5 minutes, they need to give it to the other child. But that child will also get the exact same amount of time, and then they will get it back, and it can keep going like that. So for a while you might want to use a timer for tricky sharing situations or turn-taking situations, but eventually children will start to understand the concept of sharing a lot better and they will start to share amongst themselves. Of course, you will still have situations when children don't want to share, and to be honest, adults have situations where they don't want to share. And I think it's important to remember that we shouldn't always expect children to just be fine with sharing things. They might have something that is very special to them or very precious to them, or in their play that they are narrating or kind of doing right now, that they've created this kind of story. That dragon is very important. It's a vital instrument in their storytelling right now, in their play, and to give it up to someone else, even just for 5 minutes, can be very difficult. So I think it's very important to have a lot of patience and understanding about this, while also teaching children about turn-taking. Now, of course, if you are teaching a child about turn-taking and, it's going well, or it was going well, but then the children kind of don't do it anymore, they're not listening to the timer, or they're getting very cross about sharing, then it is important to show them that that's not acceptable. And I have done some behaviour management videos before. I will put one up in a card, whichever side it shows up on, and try to remember to link them in the description box below. It can also be very helpful for children if you give them a kind of warning of time. So if you have set the timer for 5 minutes, just when it gets to 1 minute, say, okay, you've got 1 minute left now, or it's almost time to let child B play with the dragon now, just so that they have a bit of warning and it doesn't come out of nowhere, because 5 minutes can be a really short amount of time, or it can be like 5 hours to them and they will have completely forgotten that they've even got the timer there. It's also important to give children the independence to manage this time themselves as well. So once you've kind of modelled how you're going to time how long each child gets to play with something for, you can then ask them how long they think the time should be, and you can ask them to monitor the timer as well. You can also make sure that the children know that there are plenty of other things to play with. Obviously, I'm just using the example of toys, sharing toys at the moment, but you can just show them that there are other toys to play with. So while the other child is playing with that dragon, for example, they can play with this horse for a while. I have found that turning sharing into more of a turn-taking activity has really helped children to understand the concept a lot more. If you did find this video helpful, please give it a like, as it really helps out the channel. And as I said before, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that you can see a lot more videos like this. And very important, do hit the bell, because the subscribe button doesn't really notify you of anything unless you click the bell as well. Also, if you would like to support the channel a little bit further, you can find my Patreon link in the description box below. You can be involved in different ways with the channel using Patreon, so take a look at that and it would be really lovely to have you on board. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.